Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got to have a special guest here today, two of them actually. You're going to enjoy them. But first, let's get started with our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard. Hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. So be comfortable today, maybe start drying out a little bit. 83 high, 69 low, and get this, we've been talking all last week about the water temperature boom at the end of the pier. Well, now it's going to boom back down. Hit it around 78 degrees this morning. And we talk about, since I've been doing the show, we're talking about these currents that sort of come through. That was a classic case of a current coming through with warm water. And a lot of times the fish are moving in there with it. So you learned your lesson already today. River reading is brought to you by Panama City, Coca-Cola, good folks down there helping sponsor our show. We're looking at the Apalachicola Bluntstown this morning, reading a 15.1. It is high. It's in the color zone up there. Choctaw, Caryville, right at 8 foot and on the rise. And we've had a lot of rain, so you know what to expect. Hopefully it's going to settle down by the weekend and we'll have some good river and creek fishing. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tide today. Looking at a low tide at 1:55 this morning. Today's the 15th. And the high tide at 2:51 this afternoon. Now we're talking about the neap tides coming in for the weekend, so go ahead and enjoy the good tides today. Wind direction, west at about 16, still in double figures. Let's take a break. We'll come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back to the show. And look who we have this morning. We're going to have a new guest, but Officer Travis Basford, who's been with us so long with FWC, helping us on public information. Welcome back, Travis, and introduce our guest.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back as always with Coach and all the viewers, and want to introduce our new public information officer, Chris Boley from Bay County. He was selected a few weeks ago, and know he's going to do a great job in this new role. So there's Chris.
All right, Chris. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
That's a great job. We met earlier at some of these school functions. I run into you doing some things and all, and we came across just as a great communicator, and lo and behold, here he is, the communicator for FWC. So welcome.
Thank you. So I'm Officer Boley with FWC. I've been with the agency for 4 years now, and I've been up here in the Northwest region in Bay County for a little over a year. Started my career down south in the Keys, but grew up in Tallahassee, grew up in North Florida, so happy to be back and happy to talk to all y'all. I am the new public information officer for the Northwest region, so you might see me out there at different events, different outreaches, speaking events to give y'all information and appear on the show every once in a while. So I'm really excited. Please, if you see me out there, feel free to stop me, ask me questions. You know, I'm here to help. The first thing I want to talk about is next week is National Boating Safety Week. It's a national event. It's huge, and it's a great opportunity to, get messages out there about boating safety. The holiday season's right around the corner, so it's going to be really busy out there, and we want to make sure everyone's aware of all the safety and weather, all the different things that impact you when you're out on the water. It's going to kick off May 17th with Wear Your Life Jacket to Work Day. So I know we wear our life jackets basically every day at work. So if you're out there, this Friday at work, wear your life jacket. It's good messaging. But all through the 18th through the 24th, the National Weather Service, NOAA, NASBA, they're going to be pumping out information on all different kind of boating safety topics, whether it's safety gear that you need, navigational rules, weather, how to contact emergency services, boating under the influence, all those kinds of things. You hear a lot about boating safety, and I know when we stop boats, there's things we look for, safety gear, all that kind of stuff. But one thing that I wanted to highlight going into this week is you guys all know, you need life jackets, you need flares, throwables, all that kind of stuff. But I want to take this opportunity to really talk about something that isn't mentioned a lot, which is all that stuff needs to be very easily accessible. As the captain of the boat, if an emergency happens, it's going to happen quick. You might be too focused on driving the boat, talking on the radio, trying to contact us or Coast Guard. So you need to make sure all that stuff is easily accessible. I know how many times do we stop boats where they're digging around trying to find safety gear. Things happen very quickly, they happen fast, and when emergencies happen, that safety gear will truly save your life. I mean, one of our mottos is life jacket saves lives. It's true. Yeah. They really do.
Okay. Well, that's a good introduction, and you got to the point right away. I love that. You can tell he's one of us when he made a statement, I'm glad to be around all y'all, and let us know. So he's one of us now. We're so glad to have you. What made you decide, what school did you go to in Tallahassee?
So I went to Lincoln High School.
Lincoln High School, and what made you decide to go into this career?
So growing up here in the Panhandle, we have a very diverse environment and grew up, taking it all in, right? I grew up camping, being in the outdoors, fishing, hunting, whether it was, going offshore here or going fishing up on Lake Seminole, taking in all that. And then as I got older, I realized, okay, I want to work in a career, not only experiencing things that I love to do, but also being able to make a positive impact in those areas, whether it's education, with the community, or, unfortunately, sometimes when people violate the laws, having to enforce those regulations as well. So it was just the encompassing of everything that I wanted to do and being able to have a positive impact.
Well, that's great. I know you were telling me you had some classes in college, a little bit of communication classes too, so you had a good background.
Yes, sir. Went down to the University of Central Florida in Orlando, and that's where I got my degree, journalism. So, all these kind of things, really excited to be part of this.
That's great. We're proud to have you, and I know we got to give so much credit to Travis. Travis is in law enforcement, but he's coming, how many years, Travis, we figured this? It's 5, 6 years, whatever.
I think it might have been longer than that. Yes, back to the days when Ken Paramore was on, and then kind of transitioned.
That's right. You were working under Ken at that time.
Yes, sir. So it's probably been 7, 8 years, I would say at least.
And the agency just has had trouble getting that slot filled, or been temporary, and it's just we're so glad to have. But what Travis did, he filled in as public information officer. He was doing double duty, wearing 2 hats. And you have a good following now. People.
Yes, sir.
They'll call me and say, see what Travis says about this. So I text Travis, and he always gets the answer or gets back with me. So, and you're gonna still come on at times.
Yes, sir. And that's the thing. Chris has transitioned to this role, and he's perfectly capable and confident, as you can see. But if he can't fill in, he's on leave or maybe out of town on training, I'd love to come in still and fill in on the show as needed. So. It's gonna be good. Y'all are in really good hands with Chris. I can tell you that.
And what we have to do now, we have to get Chris to meet Stan Kirkland, and y'all know Stan because he was for a long time. Stan was the voice of FWC in this area. So we just want you to meet him, and it'd be cool. Y'all let him share some of his wisdom with you because we've talked before. He's had some great experiences over the years of
absolutely
things to do or not do in front of the camera. So we're going to take a quick break and be back in just 1 minute. Okay, welcome back. Officer Chris Bowley, Public Information Officer, coming on with us, and Officer Travis Bassford with the Law Enforcement Branch. We're glad to have both of them today. We're getting a double dose of FWC this morning. We're just glad to have y'all. So what's going on? Some other things going on. I know the big deal now here on the coast, we're talking about this red snapper. And it's going to open, ironically, it always opens June the 1st. This year, June 1st on Saturday. So we've talked about the boat ramps are going to be unbelievable on Saturday morning. So let's talk about those.
They will, and it's a big thing. Across our region, and if you look at red snapper and what that fishery has been able to do since I've been on the show, and since born and raised here in Panama City, Bay County, it wasn't that long ago that me and Coach were talking about a 9-day snapper season in federal waters, an 11-day snapper season. And now you look at where we're at now that FWC is managing the fishery in both state and federal waters on the private recreational side of things. We've got, and Governor DeSantis announced a couple weeks ago, 103-day snapper season, which is going to be the longest snapper season we've had since the state took over management of the private recreational sector. So everyone's excited about it. The great thing about it, and we've talked about it, and I've done it in the fall, we're going to have a very long fall season, 61 consecutive days in the summertime. We'll open June 1st, run into July, and then in the fall, Chris and I were actually talking about before we went on the air, I want to make sure everyone's aware. Look at the dates on the fall because it is Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays in September, October, and November. But there's a Thursday in there. It kind of starts on a Sunday. So just check the Fish Rules app, check our website for your dates when you get in the fall. But 103 days, I think everyone's very happy with that season. So super excited about it.
That's great. And we always go to first Saturday. Like I said, this year we always go to first Saturday. It's going to open at the same time. So I know we're looking forward to it. And also, we talk about this long season. we've talked. Well, I showed you the dates on the show. I'm going to continue to show them to you. But like I said, some of those are like 4-day weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like you said.
Sure.
And especially like Thanksgiving and all. I got a tickle when I saw the date. I said, well, I could go hunt in the morning and go snapper fish in the afternoon or the next day. I mean, that's cool.
You could cast and blast, and it'll be really cool to have, Veterans Day, Labor Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, all those holidays when people are off work, obviously weather dependent, they're going to be able to take advantage of this season, and it's going to be really good. I know when I get a chance, I'm going to try to get out there as well.
I know you and your family do a lot of good snapper fishing. I'm going to throw this out. What do y'all attribute our population rise in the red snapper? I mean, obviously we manage them well.
Sure, I think it comes down to the management. It's just another conservation success story.
Yeah.
I know it was very difficult for people at times, when we had those really short seasons. But FWC and NOAA Marine Fisheries, when they see that a certain species, whether it's reef fish or pelagic, is being overfished, and they take the management measures to cut the seasons down or adjust size limits, bag limits, this is a perfect example of it work.
Yes.
It works. And we talked about, even growing up, I'm going on 40 years old, the quality of snapper that you've seen in the last decade with these really big fish, they weren't as prevalent, growing up because we had the longer season and the bigger bag limit. And I just think, it's such a special fish to our area. There's people that come from all over to come to Panama City Beach, come to Destin, come to Pensacola to catch red snapper. And now it's really the best I've seen it in my lifetime, I can say.
I can't believe you're getting close. He was at Moser a couple of years ago when I was coaching. I can't believe he's that old now. Also, along the same line, and the flounder, when we went from 12 inches to 14 inches, that's made a big improvement. Because I've talked to old timers that flounder their whole life, and some in the 70s and 80s now, and they're saying the same thing. They're seeing a lot of smaller flounder this year they haven't seen in years, which is a testimonial.
That's true, and that was a tough one to swallow too for a lot of hardcore flounder fishermen, but you're saving those younger fish. Yeah. And as we've talked about, whether it be amberjack or snapper, as they get older, and with the studies that the biologists do, the bigger fish produce more eggs, and then we're going to have more for the next season. So, flounder's another one. I remember we came on here and talked about amberjack years ago when that size limit went up. Yes. And so anyways, everything is, trying to benefit people and the resource at the same time.
The one we're in dire straits right now, and as well as I do, the cobia, and it's really been decimated. And of course, a lot of people blame the oil spill and the dispersion and all that. It don't matter. I mean, it's happened, but now we've got to somehow get them back.
Sure.
And I've always felt like if we could just get the high schools to have little hatcheries. We're going to work on that. So the high schools have hatcheries, of course, but different. It'd be have marine biology and all that, but and all across the state, if we could just start releasing cobia, that'd be cool. Huh?
I tell you what, that's one that I think everyone would be ecstatic if it could come back. And they've done some measures, adjusting size limit, and that's probably a work in progress when it comes to cobia, I would say. So. Yeah. Okay, get back to you, Chris, real quick.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite? I'm just going to change subject a lot. Some of your favorite outdoor activities when you're off. What do you like to do?
Well, I like to, I love going camping, right? And I like primitive camping, so I like getting out there. Florida, we have the best state parks in the nation. So there's lots of that. I like being out on the water. It's nice being out there and not in a work capacity and have to wear all this out in the sun. So I like getting out there. I like fishing both freshwater and saltwater, and when season, I like to get out there, maybe get a deer or two. So
that's cool. That's cool. So I love it when you said primitive camping because I've always loved that too. Where are some places you get to go here in Panhandle?
Well, up here, right in our backyard, we have Pine Log, which has great primitive camping right there on the water. It's awesome. It's secluded, quiet. That's great. Any of the state parks, if you want to be on the water, St. Andrews State Park, has great. Camping spots that are right there on the water. Now that's not primitive, but it's awesome to be able to get out of your campsite and walk right in the water.
Oh man, that's great. You do a tent or you have a little camper? What?
I do a tent. I'm not fancy enough for a camper. So
well, you and I we're a lot alike. I'm the same way. I love that. We don't get to do much anymore. I can't get my wife to go with us much anymore, but it's good. Okay, we're going to try. We have a breaking point now, but we have all kind of information to share with you. Also, you have a case of the month, Travis?
Yes, sir. Always.
Oh, we got. Why you always have a case of the month?
Job security.
Job security.
Yeah.
I look around and I read these cases a month, and I read Woods and Water magazine had some out last week when it comes out, Woods and Water magazine,
Sure.
because they do it statewide. It's not just here in the Panhandle, it's all over.
It is.
The stupidity and the crookedness of some of our, I don't even call them outdoorsmen, just some of our crooks. It just never ceases to amaze me. Take our final break, we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. This is let's take a look at our fishing game times right now, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Our time today, we're looking at 6:04 to 8:04 this morning and 6:25 to 8:25 this evening. So be aware of those times, and we're in the process of getting some pictures from Travis on a case of the month. The timing on this is interesting. Tell us a little bit about the background.
It is. So yeah, case of the month, I'll share it with you, and then I'll let Chris talk about kind of the timing part of it. But I just want to recognize, and we've done it before, he's just been doing a really jam-up job for us here in Bay County, as well as inland during duck season and dove season. But Officer Keelan Alsabrooks, also Mosley alum, and he checked a vessel that was returning from an offshore fishing trip, did a resource inspection, and revealed that they had several greater amberjack undersize. He ended up seizing 5 that were undersized, and then you can only have 1 per person, so they were actually over the bag limit as well, and I believe we have some pictures there to kind of highlight his case.
So these are what, right here. Okay, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, so there he is actually on the boat doing his inspection, and then I think there was another one there with the ones that he had seized, and just a great job by Keelan, and he's really been doing very well lately on the resource side of things. He's made some gag grouper cases, some red snapper cases, and I'll let Chris speak to kind of the timing of that when he made those other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So the timing of those cases happened on the weekend that we had the air show here, which I think just is a great highlight, and commend the officers that we have in the field of the multiple duties that we have as officers. We had so many assets out there for the air show, doing the exclusionary zone, boating safety and all that, and people may have thought, hey, while FWC officers are going to be busy keeping everybody safe at the air show, they can sneak in with some illegal fish. But just goes to show how quickly we can change, hats, so to speak, and, different duties and all that, just if you think we're busy out there doing something, you think you can sneak one in, we can, like that,
I love it.
alter our course.
And that's probably what they're thinking. Oh, they're going to be out there, patrolling and everything, so we just ease on in. And that's great. Good job, Keelan Alsabrooks. That's awesome.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job. And we also want to recognize our partners there on the air show. We were working with Panama City Beach Police Department. They were out there in a boat. U.S. Coast Guard was out there, and everyone did really well. There were some people that we had to educate because there was a zone where the aircraft were coming in, but really did a good job, and hoping they'll bring that back next year. It was such a great event for our entire area. So.
It was a big crowd, wasn't it?
It was a pretty big crowd.
Big crowd. One thing I'd like to mention is the fact that we were really happy to see how many people had designated operators on these vessels. Usually holiday weekends we see an influx of boating under the influence, and the air show went off without a hitch. We didn't have any issues with that, so I just want to thank all y'all for being responsible during the air show.
Absolutely. A lot of vessel traffic. I think on our busiest day, Saturday, we had between 350, 400 boats at one time there, right around our exclusionary zone, and we didn't have any bad accidents.
No incidents.
We didn't have any DUIs, so
good.
that was really good, as Chris mentioned.
Okay, here's a picture you just sent to me. This one you just sent.
Yeah, so there he is. With some of the fish on the tailgate that he sees on that case, and. You can see some of those fish are pretty short. Greater amberjack has been 34 inches at the fork for quite some time now. And, we encourage everybody, educate yourself. Go on our website, myfwc.com, click on saltwater fishing, or use the Fish Rules app to identify your season dates and fish ID and your size and bag limits.
We often brag about and talk about how cool pictures are taken on tailgate. We're talking about tailgate pictures, but not like this one, okay? we get all kinds of great tailgate pictures, and that's good there. So good job.
Absolutely.
And the big thing now, with snapper coming up, less than a month. We're in May 15th, so we got a couple of weeks. Snapper coming up. I bet you'll make some red snapper cases. You think open the weekend?
Absolutely, and they're already starting to bring some in now. People trying to get an early start. So if you just hold off for another 2.5 weeks, you're going to have a very long, hopefully productive season, which allows for rainy weather, rough weather, and all that. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a couple minutes left. So what Well, gator hunting coming up pretty soon. I mean, they're applying. I mentioned that the other day.
Sure.
What else is going on FWC-wise that we need to be aware of, Chris?
Go ahead, Chris.
There was an executive order recently, probably the biggest change to chronic wasting disease in the CWD zone.
Okay.
So for those of you who haven't heard, the CWD zone, which is Holmes, Jackson, Washington County, north of I-10, west of 231, and east of State Road 81, was the CWD zone. So there was all kinds of rules and regulations, especially with baiting, baglands, things like that. This year, an executive order was signed to where now you will be allowed to put out feed and bait, but only during hunting season. So you can't put it out before deer season starts. It has to be during season. Also, along with that, the second biggest change that happened if you're in that zone hunting is you can take up to 3 antlerless deer, and you can take them during the entirety of the deer season. I think it's a little, catch up from last year with all the regulations and everything that came down with CWD. I think they've seen some positive things in the world of CWD in our area, so we're trying to bring it back a little bit. But those are going to be the 2 biggest changes if you are hunting in that zone. It's D2.
And we're talking about what a critical time it is right now in this area with CWD. And everybody, I think the response from the public has been good as far as helping out for the most part. Yeah.
I agree, and like Chris said, bringing it up from 2 to 3 on the antlerless deer, they're trying to increase the take of those, increase testing, and thank the good Lord we haven't had any more positive tests since that original one there in Holmes. So hopefully we have another season with those same results.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, I want to see y'all for another month. What do y'all have coming up this month?
Well, one more thing, and I'll let Chris speak to it if you want to talk about the Lionfish Awareness Festival and Tournament over in Destin.
Yeah, absolutely. So this weekend is the big Lionfish Roundup Lionfish Tournament. It's going to be a great event. People are going to be out there getting after those lionfish. But it's going to be great for the public, too, if you're not, participating in the event. There's going to be tons of food trucks, information tables, everything about lionfish. I will actually be out there Saturday and Sunday, so please feel free to stop by, say hello, introduce yourself, ask me some questions. That's what I'll be there for. It's also a great opportunity if you've never tried lionfish. Man, it's delicious. It's a good
really
tasting
is.
fish.
And they'll have some samples of it. Different.
Yep, absolutely. There's going to be tons of food trucks, so people are going to be cooking it all up in all different kinds of crazy ways. And I know FWC, we're going to have some tables out there, different information. There's going to be vendors, lots of different fishing companies, all kinds of stuff out there for you to enjoy and see all these lionfish as they come in. If you've never seen them, they're very cool fish, but they're also highly invasive. So it's great to learn about them too, because they're starting to really, increase their numbers in Florida, and it's starting to be a big problem. So, come out, have fun, say hello, and eat some lionfish.
And the Destin folks over there have done a really good job with this festival. It's like 10 or 11 years they've been doing it, and
Sure.
And we talked about it, but there'll be some really, really good times and all. We've run out of time. Well, congratulations, you've completed the first show.
All right, I hope I did all right.
Well, hopefully we'll have many more. And
Yes,
Travis,
sir.
we want you to always come back as many times as you can.
Yes, sir.
And, this
I
is
will.
a good change of guard, so we appreciate both of y'all.
Thank you, sir.
And we appreciate you as our viewers and all the feedback we'll get from you. And if you have any questions on FWC, text me or get a hold of these guys and they'll answer them for you. You'll have a great day today. Enjoy the great outdoors. Take care of it. And do something good for someone else today. And God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.